You're listening to a recording of Browne and Julie Hambleton, organisers of the Justice for the 21 campaign.
So tell everybody what the Justice campaign is about, what it stands for, and let's get into then the nuts and the bolts of the worst night that Birmingham, our city, us Brummies, has ever lived through.
Nearly 40 years ago, two pubs in the city of Birmingham were bombed by unknown perpetrators that left 21 innocent people murdered and 182 plus people with life-changing injuries. One of the 21 who was murdered was our sister Maxine. She was 18. She had her whole life ahead of her. She was killed with her friends, Jane and Pamela, who they had arranged to meet. They would meet there after work on a Thursday. And Maxine was only there to meet them to give handouts to a party that she was due to have the following night, which Brian will explain about. And we were all invited. I was only 11. I'm the youngest of 6. And we were all going to go to the party. We were excited. My other sister, we were excited to go. And Maxine was going to give out these invitations that she'd made herself, because she was very creative. She was very, very clever. She was a lovely, lovely girl. She was funny. She had loads and loads of friends. She was clever. She was witty. She was as sharp as a knife.
Typical Brummie.
Yeah, but she was like Mum, strong, stubborn, and a really strong-willed. She was everything to us. You know, on the back of her loss, none of us are the people that we should have been, because she was quite a powerful force in our family. She was, as Brian says, the glue that held us all together. And her loss has continued to hold us together, as it happens, and we're fighting the government and the senior management of West Midlands Police to find the real perpetrators and bring them to justice, as any democratic society and citizens would expect of any murder. This is still an open case. It is it is the biggest unsolved mass murder in England's history of the 20th century, and nobody is doing anything to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Why do you think that that's the case, Brian?
Because it's a cover-up, a major cover-up. Obviously led by the government of the day and continued forward by successive governments, and also involving West Midlands Police, whose senior management are used as puppets. And that's what we're up against. And as I say, we're like on Hamburger Hill. They're at the top and we're at the bottom, fighting our way. No one in authority wants to help us, so we have to help ourselves. The contempt that the West Midlands Police senior management have for us is just unbelievable. In fact, to the point where sometimes you feel you want to do something a bit untoward. But we're not that kind of people. We obviously want to stay on the right side of the law and do things the right way.
Which is the right way to do it.
Of course.
Well, we do that because if we were to do it any other way, we would actually be misrepresenting those who aren't here to fight for justice themselves. So everything we do with dignity and respect on behalf of those who aren't here to represent themselves. And we like stamping on Maxine's grave and everybody else's, and that's something that we don't want to do. You know, we want to do it to show the authorities that we're not just anybody, we're not bovine, and we are fighting for those without a voice. We have the voice. We are here. We are living with the grief and the pain every day, something that they clearly have no idea of. And the way we've been treated has been reprehensible, not only by senior management of West Midlands Police, but also by the government. I've written twice to the Prime Minister, had no response at all. I've written to Ed Miliband, and his office responded. He didn't respond. I've written to the Shadow Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, 4 times. No response.
Yeah.
But then, I'm not sure if people realise this, but Sinn Féin go to their party conferences.
Oh, God, oh, yeah.
So that maybe they're protecting their own backs. You know, we often wonder what they're scared of. What is it that these politicians and the senior management of Westminster Police, what are they scared of?
Truth.
Absolutely, the truth.
I think that's what...
And they're covering their own backs.
Yes, I think that's what all governments are scared of. I think that what we want as people is the truth. But there's Official Secrets Acts. There's things that get buried. You've only got to look at the Astles with the case that Claire has took to the Football Association. You know, it's so easy to open doors, to talk to people and to say, guys, how can I help you? You know, how can we work with you? How can we carry this forward? How can we give you justice so you can get some type of closure? Because I'm guessing that's a little bit of what you're looking for, surely, isn't it? You know, that would be a bit of comfort to know that you've finally got justice.
Absolutely.
Am I right in that?
Absolutely. But that we have an issue with, no disrespect to you, but we have an issue with this word closure.
Yes.
Because there will never be closure.
No, I don't like the word. I hate it, but it's often used.
It is often used, but that there will never be closure for us.
Yeah.
Because Maxine's not here. 20 other
Yeah.
19 other families' lives have been destroyed as well. You have to remember, one mother lost 2 sons that night. Her whole family were wiped out. They were Irish and they were Catholic. And the poor lady lost her whole family that night. All 20 families, including us, live with the grief and the pain every single day. And the government, as we feel, wish that they could have buried us next to our dead, because they do not, in any shape or form, want to represent or help us find the truth and to look for the perpetrators of this mass murder.
So you've tried your best now for 40 years. You've hit a wall. You've gone to, if you have seen a door, that door has been completely closed, it's been concreted, it's been cemented. You absolutely cannot get in. How can the public help you? Because you have got a Twitter campaign, Justice
For the 21.
For, not FOR, but it's for the 21.
Yeah.
You've got a website. Let's have a shout out there. How can the public, and in particular, what I'm looking at is the public of Birmingham, because it's our city and inclusive of the Irish community.
Absolutely.
Because as you said, there are Irish people there was a miscarriage of justice where the Birmingham 6 were incarcerated for a crime that they did not do. So it's not an anti-Irish, it's not an anti-any, it's an inclusive of everybody. All we want, and all you guys want, is the truth of what happened that horrible night 40 years ago this November. I remember it quite clearly. It was a few days before my 9th birthday. Was it a Thursday evening?
It was.
My dad, there's a lad, James Craig, who died.
Yes.
He was 32. My dad went out for a drink every Friday with him. 1 week they'd go for a drink, and then the other uptown. Sadly, the Friday before was the last Friday that he ever drunk with him. That could have been my dad in the pub that night.
Yeah.
My life could have changed. I could be sitting there in your chair. You could be interviewing. That's as it is. It affects people directly or indirectly. It's something that Birmingham and the city of Birmingham should be coming together and helping you guys to get that justice. Now, the Birmingham Mail have been fantastic in their support.
Yes.
Please, let's give them a big shout up, and how they've been so good.
The Birmingham Mail are absolutely incredible. They are a fantastic institution as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
We feel as though we've won the polls with them. They are just incredible.
Yeah.
We can't praise their support enough. We just cannot, particularly Andy Richards, who's an assistant editor there, and of course the editor David Brooks. And their journalists and their photographers, they've all treated us with the utmost respect. You know, an awful lot of the journalists who, obviously, we do not condone what they did to do with the Leveson inquiry. But all the journalists we've met have treated us with nothing but respect, have they, Brian?
Yes.
And and they're all very, very supportive. You know, that they are just as perplexed as we are with the apparent conspiracy and cover up of there's the papers from the Birmingham pub bombings. According to Paddy Hill, who is also one of our biggest supporters, he was one of the men who became known as the Birmingham Six, who fought for their release for 16 years. He told us, and also his barrister told us, Gareth Pearce, and she's a lady, she really is a lady, told us that the files, after they won their appeal, were put under a 75-year embargo.
Oh, okay, that's handy.
Which is now called a public interest immunity certificate.
Oh, okay.
Now, like Paddy has pointed out, why would you lock something away for 75 years? What you've got to remember is what we did in the Second World War, because, you know, we did some real devious, deceitful stuff.
Tom Memorial,
absolutely, yes, which was understandable at that time. But all that was only put away for 50 years.
Oh, God, yeah.
So what is it to do with the Birmingham pub bombings that needs to be hidden away, waiting for all of us to die before it would ever be released? But we believed it would never be released because we believe that it would literally crack open a can of worms that the governments would never, ever be able to see the light of day again. And it would bring about an anarchy, because we can only come to a conclusion that if they are continually trying to cover up and hide behind the Official Secrets Act, hiding evidence for 75 years, that the government must be involved in some way.
I think that's it's a conclusion that I think a lot of people would come to. Certainly in cahoots with, certainly covering something up. There was also, I mean, it was the Tavern in the Town and the Mulberry Bush in Birmingham that sadly got bombed. There was a third bomb that didn't go off. The police recovered that bomb, is my understanding. I don't know if you can clarify this, Brian. And they lost the bomb. Am I correct in my assumption there? Because it sounds very Keystone Cop rather than West Midlands.
Amazingly, unfortunately, that is a correct statement which they made. We had to go to a meeting of various detectives and officers at Lloyd House last year, one of many, and I brought up the case of the third bomb, which I have to say, when I mentioned it, the police wasn't ready for it. And it became a very painful, embarrassing situation where one policeman was turning around to the other, asking where the bomb was, till in the end, after about the fourth officer, someone had to say something relative and says, yes, in so many words, they knew where the bomb was, and it would be in transit, or words to the effect of whatever that meant.
Hey, what? It's going round somewhere.
Well, it would be brought back into the picture somehow, because obviously it's major evidence. But of course, when this was thrown into the air and thought about, I think the best thing, as far as I'm concerned, is the best thing that could happen to the bomb is for it to be lost, or as I say, stroke hidden. Because it's highly relevant, one of the most important pieces of evidence. Plus, they lost what they admitted, another 35 items. I mean, that could be 135 items. Right. As far as I know, I've never been a policeman, but I know many policemen.
Yeah.
And when you have evidence has to be signed in to a compartment at the police station, and wherever it's moved to and from, it has to be signed out and signed back in. So God knows how this happened. And more unfortunate for us, unfortunate news was, we was told by the Chief Constable and the head of the counter-terrorism unit, Marcus Beale, the Assistant Chief Constable, that all these relative items and materials and evidence was going to be sent to the world-famous Netherlands forensic science laboratories, where they would be DNA profiled, etc. God knows why this is, because if you go onto the West Midlands Police blog about their forensics laboratories, you are blinded by the lights hitting your eyes. So why they had to pay, and I think a figure was plucked of 1.3 million
Jesus,
for them to be transported there and analysed. At a meeting on April the 7th this year, the Chief Constable admitted that nothing was taken anyway, that the professors forensic experts just read an old file from the beginning of the 90s and just accepted what was written as read. So that was a major shock to us. But getting back to the nitty gritty, I know we're always ranting on about West Midlands Police upper management, but we don't have any argument at all with frontline officers who are paid to do a job and do a pretty good job under the circumstances that they have and the amount of officers that there is to do the job that they.
No, that the frontline officers are absolutely fantastic. Actually,
exactly,
that they are.
I mean,
many of them that we meet, particularly because we were assigned liaison officers. 38 years too late, but nevertheless we were assigned liaison officers that we can turn to if necessary. But and they've been very good. That they're very nice people, I have to say. But they also have task force now. So when you want to protest, you have to or demonstrate, you have to apply. Because we always follow the rules, If we want to collect signatures in the city, we apply to Birmingham City Council for permission. We don't do anything, ad hoc, because we want to follow the rules and regulations. And do it peacefully as well. But the task force guys that we deal with at West Midlands Police are absolutely fantastic. They come and chat to us and they're lovely. They really are. And we haven't got an issue with them at all. In fact, they actually have our sympathy because of, those in the hierarchy are at best questionable in the way that they, inverted commas, manage their staff. Because they can't manage themselves, and they certainly are not equipped to do the job that they're employed and paid to do. And we pay their salaries, and we question where our money's actually being spent and who employed these people. When we were at the Northern Ireland Affairs Select Committee in Westminster a month ago, I actually said that at to the Select Committee, which had a range of every single politician from every single political group there, particularly from Northern Ireland as well. And I said, the Chief Constable, how this man got his job, I will never know, because it's a complete and utter waste of space. We have no confidence in this man whatsoever. And another pause for thought was the fact that Brian discovered that during the past 2 years that they've been reassessing the evidence from the Birmingham pub bombings. Which was actually, we've come to the conclusion, which just gave them an excuse to put everything onto the computer, onto a memory stick, as opposed from paper. That Marcus Beale, the Assistant Chief Constable of the Counter-Terrorism Unit, who was overseeing all of this, was actually, and still is, under investigation with the IPCC for withholding evidence from another massive murder case.
All right. Yeah, pretty consistent then.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yes. And also Hillsborough are coming this way this year whether the IPC are going to be questioning them, where they got allegedly witnesses from Hillsborough to change their witness statements.
There's a lot of that gone on at Hillsborough, ain't there? There's pages that go missing. And at the meeting in April with the Chief Constable and the Assistant Chief Constable of West Midlands Police, it was highlighted to them that we have no trust in them whatsoever. Yeah.
While we were there, I questioned the Chief Constable, who had said that they'd sent all this stuff to the Netherlands to be forensically tested, and they said that it was past its, for want of a better expression, its sell-by date. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, well, if that's the case, then what was sent? And he was so arrogant in his answer, and he shrugged his shoulders, and he went and he looked at his men and he went, have I not just answered that question?
Well, actually, no, that's what I'm asking.
And I looked at him and I said, no, you haven't. So I picked up a glass and I said, you see this glass? If this glass was part of the third bomb, that, by the way, was still intact.
Yeah.
And because he was on about having being able to, I can't think of the word, being able to detail the resonance of examining it. Yeah. And I said, you've touched it, I've touched it, we've all touched it.
It's contaminated.
Yeah, yes, but you can identify those fingerprints because you have them. Yeah. But then other fingerprints are found on there. Mm. Was that glass sent to the Netherlands? And he went, no. I said, so nothing was sent?
No.
He said, no. I said, so you've lied to us. For the past 2 years, we've been lied to. We were promised that all of your tangible evidence was going to be sent to the Netherlands to be forensically tested. He said, no, nothing was sent. The only things that were sent were some letters, apparently, that they're trying to see if there was any fingerprints on there. And see if they're in the system. So you see, they had 168 pieces of tangible evidence from the 1975 original trial. Mm-hmm. 35 of those pieces have been lost.
Yeah.
Now we have that in writing. Mm-hmm. They've been lost.
Yeah.
And one of those 35 items is the third bomb.
Yes.
Now the third bomb was found intact. It didn't explode. Mm-hmm. But what happened was a bomb squad come and exploded it under
a controlled explosion.
Okay. So it was like taking off. It was like a boiled egg.
Yeah, sure.
You take the top off. So everything else was intact.
Yes.
Now we're not talking about a piece of paper here that's been lost. No. We're talking about a box. Mm-hmm. It would have been like a box with a clock inside that would have been ticking away, waiting for it to explode. Yeah. And it would have been full of fingerprints, because at that time, anyone who made a bomb at that time would never have thought about wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Because they would have thought it was going to be exploded.
And also, I would imagine the techniques of making the bombs, there was only a certain amount of
that's
people
right,
that
yes,
would do it
that's
as
right,
well.
yes. And that's right. And they all had their telltale signs.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
And that's been lost.
Mm.
Now, this just adds to the conspiracy.
Yeah, of course it does.
How can you lose something as big as a bomb?
Find it amazing that you're going to lose a bomb. And also, because they've lost the bomb, is there an inquiry into how they lost the bomb?
Oh, no.
There must be people that have, signed
a
piece of paper somewhere to sign evidence out.
Exactly,
so there must be someone's signature on, but I guess the way that they work, they've probably lost the piece of paper that hold the signature, that hold the evidence of the bomb. So all in all, it just looks like, well, at best, it makes them look like idiots and incompetent.
Yeah.
And at kind of worst, it makes it look really, really
suspicious.
More shady and suspicious.
Well, as I've always said from day one, our story, if you can call it a story, is like a child's jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
Of 9 pieces. There was 2 pieces missing. Now there's 1, but the story takes a very sinister edge to it, because, as you know, in the 70s, the British Secret Services was trying to infiltrate the IRA, which they did. and also take them apart. We've learned, obviously we can't say too much, that a situation arose on that night, which has never happened before, to do with certain situations. And there were some very dark forces at work in Birmingham on that evening.
Oh, right.
Which will come out in the future. But we need to join the dots, as I say. But as getting back to West Midlands Police with the senior management, they've tried endlessly to label us. They tried to arrest me outside Lloyd House because I do a monthly silent protest.
Yeah, which is your right.
Yes,
absolutely your right. So why they try to arrest you for doing something that was your right?
This is unbelievable. This story is so there I am by myself standing outside with all my street furniture and banners and placards, and this police car turns up like out the Sweeney, out the 70s. Two officers come up. One was a young fella berating to me the law about, I says to him, where's the fire? Where's the dead bodies? Where's the knives, etc.? He says, we've had a call to Central saying that there's an unauthorised demonstration. I says, not unauthorised. I says, where does that come from? I says, as a policeman, you should know a civilian's rights. I says, not only do I have the rights under British law to hold a silent protest anywhere at any time, as long as I'm not impeding anyone or the public highway. I says it's backed up by the European human rights as well. So that kind of silenced him straight away. But he still kept on intimidating me. And when I asked him, he had the, I'll put it politely, I was quite upset that he asked me what I was protesting about, which led me to understand that not only have the West Midlands Police and the government done a good job on the day of burying what happened in Birmingham, that they don't even teach at the police college the history of the city of a serving officer now, which is quite upsetting. And
probably the copper now.
Yeah. And I politely told him to go away. Yeah. I wasn't offensive to him. I was just sticking up for my rights.
Yeah.
The older officer with him, the more mature officer, wouldn't say too much because obviously he knew I was right. Yeah. I wasn't doing anything wrong. But after they left, I was sort of left bemused. I wouldn't make a complaint against the police. I mean, they've got a job to do, but I thought I'd take this one up, and I made a complaint of sorts, only to be shocked and astounded to find out, who do you think called the police out to me?
The police?
The police.
It's a shock, isn't it?
The police inside Lloyd House called their own officers to question why I was there.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. But it wasn't the first time he'd done it.
It's great, isn't it?
I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you?
You actually couldn't, could you?
No.
There's going to be a concert.
Yes.
This year.
On the 20th of November, Thursday the 20th of November, in the Town Hall.
I'm going to say that's the wonderful Birmingham Town Hall. Tell us a little bit about that, and how can we obtain tickets?
You can obtain tickets online. However, I would suggest you don't buy them online.
£3 quid on top.
Yes, £3 quid on top, and that's out of our control. So my apologies to everybody for that. Yeah. We have been twittering to tell people about that. So if you can try and go in person to go and buy them, I think it's 25 pence to buy it over the counter. Mm-hmm. They're £12. All proceeds is being split between two charities, Acorns Hospice and the Birmingham Children's Hospital.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
the reason why we did the Acorns Hospice is for very poorly children, to try and help them. And Birmingham Children's Hospital was chosen because at the time when it happened in 1974, the Birmingham Children's Hospital was known as the General.
That's right, yeah.
And a lot of the injured were taken there, and a lot of the
And our sister.
dead bodies, including our sister Maxine, were taken there to the morgue. And that was why we wanted them to be given the opportunity to receive some money. You know, without sounding corny, children are our future.
But they are.
And we need to invest in them, and we want to give something back. We've always said from day one, with our campaign, we don't want money and we don't want an apology. The only thing we want is justice to be served and seen to be served. And this is our way of trying to show people that we mean what we say and we say what we mean. And, you know, people offer to donate money and that. We get some very nice emails from people, and we say, you know, we don't want your money. If you really want to help, then and we've discussed this, haven't we, Brian? You know, they want to put towards banners, because we fund ourselves. We have had funding. Mike, one of our big supporters, who came up with the slogan "Justice for the 21," because how it all began was I set up an e-petition online called 21 Reasons to Reopen the Birmingham Pub Bombings, 21 meaning for the 21 dead. And Mike and many of his friends and colleagues came on board, and they've been fantastic in helping us get to where we are. You know, without them, I don't know where we would have been. That they truly have been fantastic. And now we've got the Birmingham Mail, and we have so many supporters. You know, we had one chap who flew in from Mexico. He's a Brummie, and he is a Birmingham City supporter. And rather than go to the game, he came and helped us collect signatures. I mean, that sort of generosity of spirit has helped boost our belief in humanity, because we've been ignored for so many years by the very people in authority who have the power to do something and choose to do nothing. The power of the people have come forward to assist us in our plight for truth and justice, and it's incredible. It really is.
It's always my experience that the establishment won't, but the public will.
Yes.
Now, what bands have you got on there that evening? Do you know yet?
Well, we do know some, but we're waiting to hear on some one or two potential big names.
Okay.
But everybody who's involved is doing it for free.
Yep.
We have Jim, who owns Big Bear Records.
Jim Simpson.
Yes.
Yeah, legend.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's giving of his time and organising the concert on our behalf. We have Quill, Joyce Strachan from Quill. They're coming, and what a lovely group and lovely lady she is. Yeah, it's lovely. And we have Zero Navigator, RJ Ellery. He's an author, but he also has his own band. There's also Steve Gibbons is coming.
One of yours, you like all that stuff.
He's coming, and I am sorry because I've got such a terrible
No,
memory.
absolutely, yeah.
And God, who else?
But it'd be great if like more and more. So it's still open for Birmingham musicians to jump on.
Yes,
you know, like it'd be nice if UB40 or Ocean Colour Scene or some of the biggies, Jeff Lynne, you know, are out there that want to come on there.
Well, strangely enough, Phil Hatton, who co-wrote with Dave Scott Morgan our song 21 Today, 21 Yesterdays, 21 Tomorrows. Phil Hatton used to work with ELO and Jeff Lynne, but I don't think Jeff is available. Some people don't really want to get involved for some reason or other. That they are misguided in the belief that it's political, but we are not political.
No.
We are not political.
All you want is justice.
All we want is what any family of a murdered victim would want, is justice. We don't make it political. We are actually apolitical. We have no political affiliations with any political party. We will talk to any political party.
Same here.
Strangely enough, the only political politician who has actually written a letter on our behalf to the is the First Minister of Northern Ireland, Peter Robinson, and Bill Etheridge, who is now an MEP for UKIP. And has been very supportive, but we will talk to any political party.
So out of all the politicians that you've got sitting down there in Westminster, well, they're on holiday at the minute, aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, it's kicking off all around the world, ain't it? And they're sunning themselves on the beach.
Yes.
There's only 2 that's had the decency to actually write or connect with you in any way, shape or form.
However, I must say, when we were at the Northern Ireland Affairs Select Committee, Alistair MacDonnell of the SDLP in Northern Ireland, he took us to tea, which we thought was so generous of him.
That's the Irish for you.
Absolutely, they're so hospitable.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So actually, some of our biggest supporters are from the Irish community.
Exactly,
and from Northern Ireland and
why wouldn't they be?
Absolutely.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Well,
everybody got that.
I think it was Mike, wasn't it, who came up with a placard. One of our placards says, the bombs didn't discriminate and neither do we.
No.
You know, we've always said, we have no qualms and we have got no fight or argument with any nationality, in particular the Irish, because they have suffered just as much as we have, and their pain is our pain, and we want them on board. I heard through I can't remember who told me, but a lady from the Irish community in Birmingham. I think that there's an organisation called Irish.
Okay.
And they're trying to organise inviting someone major from Ireland to come across on the day to attend a mass in St Philip's Cathedral in the afternoon,
fantastic.
which would be absolutely and you know we'd love that, and we want all cultures and backgrounds to come on board. We want the Muslims, Sikhs.
We've had 20,000 down the Canal Park with Eid Miller, haven't we?
Absolutely, yeah,
Let's
absolutely,
get our
Catholics,
brother Muslim and brothers,
Protestants, you know. Buddhists.
It's the city of
that
Birmingham,
counts, absolutely, and we need to come together and show the strength and how we are refusing to allow this atrocity to plague our future. You know, our motto for Birmingham is forward. So we are moving forward in a positive way, but we can only move forward in a positive way if justice is seen to be done.
Exactly.
Because if justice isn't seen to be done, then what hope do our children of the future have of seeing justice being done if, God forbid, this was ever to happen again? If this was ever to happen again, and they know of our past and that we are still fighting for justice, and we are still fighting with senior management of West Midlands Police to go looking and investigating for the real perpetrators of this mass murder, and they won't do that, then what hope does the future generations of Birmingham have?
And what's more frightening is that the deputy, the Assistant Chief Constable, Marcus Beale, head of the CTU, if ever there is, God forbid, another bombing atrocity in Birmingham, is to think, and the children who will read our blog sites and everything, who, I must say, are the younger generation, are our greatest supporters. They cannot believe in history that they do not know what happened in this city.
No, that's amazing.
And if, as I say, and God forbid that it ever did, with the trouble in the world, if another terrorist decided to set a bomb off in Birmingham again, we have a man in charge of the CTU, as in ACC Marcus Beale, who not only doesn't want to take up the gauntlet to track down and arrest the named bombers, because they have their names, and they're and actually you could say they're protecting them. I mean, what does that say about the city of Birmingham? I mean, it could send out completely the wrong messages to terrorists that they can come here, do as they want, disappear, and they're not going to be tracked.
And never fear, you know, that they can come to Birmingham, kill as many people as they like without any fear of retribution.
So it appears
because that is exactly how it appears to be. I mean, going back to the meeting with the Chief Constable, it was that the word was provenance, that you need to have the provenance of where that evidence has originated from. And what he was trying to say, the Chief Constable, is with the passage of time, this is exactly what he said, with the passage of time, the provenance of the evidence has been somewhat destroyed, so they can't track any forensic evidence, which of course is a load of rubbish. And I told him this. I said, I've read an awful lot about forensic evidence. He said, oh, well, I'm an expert in it. He said, no, I'm telling you. I said, no. I said, that there was a piece, which there was in the Telegraph. My other half saved it for me, actually, about the Jill Dando case.
Yeah.
And apparently, that this forensic expert said that DNA evidence can never, ever be destroyed.
That's my understanding of DNA,
even after thousands of years. Look what they're doing with Richard III's bones at the moment.
They could dig a dinosaur up and tell you how big it was with DNA.
Well, apparently they're looking at. He was a drunk. That he drunk a lot. Well, I mean, they couldn't drink water then, could they? Because it wasn't purified.
They drunk mead then.
They drunk mead, yes. So what the chief constable was saying, you see, that they think they're dealing with idiots. And you know, I put him straight. And I said, and also, if that's the case, if you're saying that the evidence that you currently have, the provenance of it, through the passage of time is no good, then what's the point in the Met Police investigating you, Tree, about the alleged paedophiles? I said, which many of them have been arrested on circumstantial evidence. So what are you doing?
That's different though, that is. It's different because they want scapegoats, you see.
Of course they do,
when it suits, they can find people.
Yes, yeah.
And they can have them up, they can put because the media are in cahoots a lot of times with them as well. So, I mean, Sir Cliff Richard's at it at the moment. You know, it's all gone through the papers and that. They've not interviewed him. There's a shred of evidence.
Yes.
But because it suits something or suits a political agenda,
yes.
then they're more than happy to do that.
Well, you see, the thing is that it takes the spotlight off them, off the politicians, of which we have but very little time for. But going back to the Northern Ireland Affairs Select Committee, when we were there, Lady Herman, who's an independent in Northern Ireland. Now, she does put the lady into lady. Oh, she's an absolute lovely, generous, kind lady, and she's written me a very nice letter. And I have to say, Andrew Mitchell as well, you know, Plebgate chap. He was an out-and-out gentleman. We met with him last year, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. I mean, he put his hands up and he said, I can't offer you support, but I will do this, this and this and this for you if you want.
Fair play.
And he was very good.
We feel that people in the now, as in the MPs in the government of today, they feel like they want to help.
Oh, God,
But they
can't.
Yeah.
Because, you know, to the point of putting their job and future and
they're warned off. It's obvious.
And pension on the line.
Like Brian says, you know, our own MP, Khalid Mahmood, he's been to my house a number of times and he said he'd do this and this, and we're still waiting. It's 2 years on. You know, and it's very disappointing to think that these people are there or meant to be there to act on our behalf. This is the biggest mass murder of Birmingham's or England's history of the 20th century, and nobody is doing anything to look for the murderers. What does that say about our society? What does that say about our politicians?
I think it's bent. I think it's corrupt. I think it's all,
you know, they're treating victims and survivors as the baddies. You know, we are in the wrong because we want justice.
And also, you're a troublemaker.
Yes.
I bet you a pound to a penny you're perceived as troublemakers.
Yes.
The crux of it is the fact that the argument always comes back to this public interest immunity certificate, this 75-year rule, which is secret paperwork to do with the Knights, which really is just move forward into the future. So the likes of us will be dead. So our sons or grandsons.
Yes, absolutely.
Where my sons are concerned, I have chiselled it into their mind. If I die tomorrow, they will continue the fight. So that 75-year rule, which expires in 2068, as Julie says earlier, could be reassessed and move forward another 50 years. But the key to our fight, if there's not any corruption or conspiracy going on, why don't the people in power open the key to that box and read what's inside it? It's as simple as that.
Very easy to do, isn't it?
from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell that you feel from a cold to red, a smile from a veil? Do you think you could tell? Did they trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot hair for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? How did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming